Okay, the headlines. I had the pleasure of speaking with Hanneke van Ormondt, and she's working with Urgenda in the Netherlands. And one of their projects is Meer Bomen Nu, which stands for More Trees Now, which is a circular forest management initiative, replanting saplings, replanting shrubs. So, in essence, recycling trees. First, however, last week, the Summit for the Ocean, the One Planet Summit for the Ocean in France, and in the weeks leading up to that event, quite a few commitments, quite a few articles from various sites may have to do with the summit and the event. I'm not sure, but very good nonetheless. CBC is talking about our oceans being hotter than ever before. And SCMP is talking about protecting marine life by learning to live sustainably. The World Bank obviously talks about finance, and they say that our oceans are critical for human existence and a cornerstone of the global economy. And they're talking about 3 billion people relying on the ocean. That is for food, for jobs, for livelihoods. They say that we have impacts, however, impacts of climate change, overfishing, pollution. Their solution is green and sustainable finance. And their question is how this innovative wave will finance what they call the blue economy. So Matador Network is talking about the Galapagos, which is obviously in Ecuador, a new ocean highway. And they say this will create amazing marine life encounters for visitors. What they're doing now is they're putting a stop to overfishing, so a fishing ban. This will allow marine life to repopulate the reefs, to recuperate both naturally as well as via human assistance, coral planting. And overall, this is great news for the sharks, for marine mammals, for coral, for fish in the water surrounding the Galapagos, as well as for tourists coming to the region. Forbes is talking about Belize, also extending their protection, in this case for sharks. There was a research team shown that even in marine protected areas, MPAs, endangered sharks may still be vulnerable, and the effectiveness of the MPAs and depends really on the enforcement. So I quote, you can think of these areas like a garden. You don't plant a garden and then walk away. You have to tend it, and that's according to Chapman. And they are helping the government of Belize to do so. We are helping them to tend the garden, another quote. And this has led to new legislation protecting shark fishing a further 2 miles around these MPAs, marine protected areas. Great news. Then we have the biggest news, at least for me. Iceland is going to stop whale hunting. This is in part because Japan has returned to commercial whaling in 2019, so 3 years ago. That was after a 3-decade hiatus. Now, that means that the demand for Icelandic whale meat has decreased dramatically. So they have pulled the plug on hunting fin whales, and these are the second largest mammals on the planet behind the blue whale. Yeah. Now, Business Insider is talking about the blue whales. Cargo ships are killing blue whales, but the problem is uniquely resolvable. So this is off the coast of Sri Lanka, and the risk could be reduced by 95% if the shipping routes were adjusted just a small amount, 15 nautical miles more south than is the current route. Blue whales are the largest animal to have ever lived, but the numbers are dwindling as an endangered species. I spoke with Hanneke van Ormondt in the Netherlands. Now, I did tree planting myself. I did tree spacing as well. That is in BC, Canada, British Columbia. Spacing trees is basically giving the healthy trees, or the most healthy tree in a circle, more space to grow, to cultivate, more land to feed on. So you're cutting all the other trees around them away. You're clearing it. It is waste. Now, Hanneke is working with Urgenda on the project Meer Bomen Nu. And yes, that is Dutch for More Trees Now. It is a circular forest management initiative, replanting saplings and shrubs. So in essence, recycling trees, a 360 economy. Already they have replanted 250,000 trees, and slowly they are moving international. So they're already making inroads in Belgium. Now, this is very important because Europe, they want to plant 3 billion more trees by 2030. And already there's a struggle to get these saplings, to get these trees. So they're doing it via nurseries, but there are additional ways, and that is what Hanneke is working on. So they are using volunteers. They're also talking to the army in the Netherlands as well as in Belgium. I think it's a really good initiative to help recycle trees and to give them to the farmers who need them. But how does it work exactly?
But there are a lot of trees that are being mown down or being taken away because they grow too close to the path or because their birch is overgrowing the heather. And now they are taken, mown down or pulled out and then shredded and burned or shredded and left behind. And we think you should replant all those young trees. And last winter we gave away 500,000 trees and shrubs for free. Half of them was donated, leftovers from nurseries, and half of them, 250,000, we've collected with volunteers in nature areas and parks, and then gave them away for free to farmers and civilians who want to plant trees. And of course, this way it's much cheaper. And you save time because the trees that we work with are between 50 centimeters and 2 meters tall. So they're already 2 to 5 years old. But just the thing, it's a whole very logistic operation because in one place you harvest birches by 1,000, 2,000 in a day. And another place it's willows, and another place it's beech or now something else. But what you want to give to the planting locations, to a farmer who is planting a hedgerow or something, you want to give them 10 different species. So all the trees often first go to a tree hub, and where there's enough nice biodiverse mix there, then you give it to the plant location. So that we're really working on more biodiversity. But taking out the trees, it's not very hard. It's just recognizing them in winter because they've got no leaves. So you have to recognize them by the buds, and you need like harvest specialists, or how we call them. Yeah, people who can work with the volunteers and tell them which species are they can take and which not. And the first winter we did it, 80% of our saplings survived, which is brilliant. That is just as good as regular forest planting. But we did have a wet spring. I think everywhere with our climates, it could work perfectly. And we've done one trip to Belgium, one harvest and plant day. And the Flemish minister was very excited about it, thinking of putting the army in Belgium to doing this work. Frans Timmermans, the EU commissary, is very enthusiastic because he believes that this can help him reaching the 3 billion tree goal that he has. So people are very enthusiastic about it because they're nice days outside in nature, doing something good and learning, because you learn to look differently at nature. You see the power of nature. You see how many young trees are growing, sometimes like 80 on a square meter, where you can easily take away 70 and leave a few. So it's people love it.